lovely students. I hope you're doing great and you are enjoying your summer, although my summer doesn't look like summer at all. Anyway, today I would like to give you some tips and tricks for studying new vocabulary, because this is an issue for most of my students and I hear about it every single day. Because my students usually say, you know, I study new vocabulary but I just cannot remember it, I just forget it instantly, and that's an issue. That's an issue, that's a problem. So I would like to describe my way of learning new vocabulary, because it works for me and that vocabulary that I study this way stays with me forever. The tip number one is study from a context, because most of my students, they have a list of vocabulary which looks like this, and I don't think it's really good because it's usually just one word and a translation. I mean, it can work, but it definitely doesn't work for me personally. So the way I study new vocabulary is from real sources. That means videos on YouTube, films, TV series, podcasts, interviews, where I'm listening to a conversation or somebody sharing some information and boom, there is a word that I don't know or I don't understand. So I don't study from like lists of vocabulary because there is no context in it. Even when there is some explanation and an example sentence, like that's just not good enough. I prefer having it from a real source. It means a native speaker talking about something that I am interested in. So I'm watching a video that I really want to watch, or I'm listening to a conversation that I'm genuinely interested in, and there is something new for me and I'm like, ooh, you know, my favorite person said it, so I should probably, you know, remember that. So yeah, boom, I've got new vocabulary. The second thing that I do is that I want to understand what it means, right? And that's my second tip, which is don't translate. Don't look for translations, but search for definitions in English. No translations. I think this is a very important step in your language learning, and that is to stop translating. Because when you are listening to somebody, there is no space to translate everything. And also when you are speaking, you are not translating, you are just speaking. Like sooner or later you have to stop translating. So if you can do it now, do it. No translations, look for definitions. I personally use the Cambridge Dictionary because I'm just probably used to it. I like the way it is organized. I have both British pronunciation and American pronunciation. I've got the definition in English and I've got some example sentences. And trust me, that is all you need. Those definitions are usually written in a simple English, but in case you don't understand something that is written there, you can click on the word and you will see the definition of that word, right? So it's like a little game. And you try to understand the word, not like translating it, but, you know, understanding really what it means. So it's your English brain that is trying to understand the English word in English, and that's what we want. You need to know the definition. So when you are in a situation where you are speaking and then you get stuck because you want to say a word but you don't know the translation of, you will be able to explain it in a different way. And that's what we want. So look for the definitions, not for translations. And also we want to keep the whole studying process in English only. I said it before, like when you study English, you should be completely immersed in English, and we want your native brain to go for a walk. We don't want it here. We want your native brain to be somewhere, you know, and we want just the English brain to be activated and to be like here with us during the studying process. Yeah. The step number 3 is looking for examples. I believe there is a lot of websites where you can put a word and you will see a lot of like written example sentences of that word, but Again, for me personally, that's not good enough. I just don't trust it. I just want to hear the word from a native speaker. I just want a proof that I need it. My brain really needs that. I don't want to waste my brain space. I want to double check if the native speakers really use it, and for this purpose I use the Hiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiiii use a word in it. And not only a word, you can put a whole phrase or an entire idiom or a part of a sentence or whatever you are looking for. You just put it on there, and just because this is connected to YouTube, it will generate English videos with that word in it, right? And it will jump straight into the sentence where the word is. And you've got the subtitles, so you can have the entire sentence from the native speaker. Those videos are usually from some TED Talks or some interviews, documentaries, or just some like normal YouTube videos, right? So it is real people using this word in real situations. So it's not just like a teacher compiling some, you know, like vocabulary that you should know. It's real people using it in real situations, and that's what I love about it, because for my brain it means like, oh, it's not just some, you know, textbook shit. Real people are really using it, so I should probably, you know, memorize that, or I should probably remember it. I will need it in the future. You can also see how many videos there are using this vocabulary, and again, for my brain, if I see like 100,000 videos with that word in it or with this idiom in it, I'm like, okay, I will probably hear it a lot in the future, so I really want to remember that one. The next thing is that I take a pen and paper because I'm really old school, and I just write it down. I know that nowadays you've got a lot of applications and things like this, but yeah, I'm old school. I keep it simple, so pen and paper, I write it down. And what I write is the entire expression. It's not just that one word, but the entire expression or a part of the sentence. Or I can write just the one word and then the entire sentence that I got it from. And it would be the initial one, like where I heard it for the first time. Because the connection to that context is usually much stronger. Even when I find like other examples, like my brain just remembers the first time I came across that. I don't know why. Maybe it was like, you know, like the shock to the system or something. Even if I find better examples on English, my brain usually goes for the very first time that I interacted with that word. So I write down that example, the entire sentence, and then a couple of example sentences from English, but mainly I write down the definition, right? The next thing is to create a personal association with the word, because those example sentences are from someone else, you know, like from someone else's experience, and it has nothing to do with me. So I want to make the word personal to me. I want to see how I can use it in my life. So those example sentences can serve as an example, which is fantastic, but sometimes, you know, those things never happen to me, or, you know, those examples have nothing to do with my life. So the next step, and I think that's the most important one, is that I just sit down and I think about the word, like what it really means and what it means to me, how I can use it. So in case it is an adjective, I would try to connect that adjective like with a real person. If it's, for example, some, you know, like lovely adjective like hilarious, for example, or whatever, I would think of a real person from my life who is hilarious, and I would connect the word to their face, right? So for example, Lucy, my friend Lucy is hilarious, and I would think about her and all of those moments when she made me laugh. and we had a great time. But I would take a real memory of her and I would connect it to that word, or like real moments which were hilarious. And I would, again, write down the memory of that, right? Or if it's a verb, some activity, it could be anything. Just I would think about my life when, you know, that thing happened, or when something happened, and I could describe it with that particular word. Like, it's time consuming. I know it is, and usually, you know, like, people want to study English like faster, but you know, this is not about speed, it's about quality, you know? Quality over quantity. The more time you spend with that vocabulary, the stronger the connection is going to be, right? So let's say that at the end of this process of like knowing the definition and creating the association, like having enough like real examples from people and just having, you know, like a connection with that word, I would keep it on a piece of paper somewhere in my room. I would usually put it on my mirror because, you know, I'm a girl, I need to do my hair or whatever, and I look at the mirror pretty often. So I want the word to be there every time I look into the mirror, you know, because nowadays you have a lot of applications with, you know, the list of vocabulary, but you have to do it intentionally. You intentionally have to open the list of vocabulary, but you know, I don't have time for that, you know, every single day. Like, yeah, it's just not possible for me to do it on a daily basis. So I need the word to be somewhere where I'm just looking at it, you know, unintentionally, you know. Is that a word? I don't know. So I just want to keep it on some visible place. I know it's not very like aesthetic, but it's not about aesthetics. This is about knowledge, your wisdom, right? You are working on your future, so you know, you can deal with a little, you know, ugly piece of paper in your room, do you know? Actually, in my mom's flat, I put a cling film onto a wardrobe and I was writing the words down there. So every time I was putting my clothes on, or when I was like taking it off, or when I was doing my workout, or when I was doing my yoga or whatever, or every time I just passed the wardrobe, I had those new words in front of me. Because what usually happens is that you study the new vocabulary and then boom, within a couple of days, if you don't see the word, like, you will forget. Like, your brain is really good at deleting unwanted information. So if you see something just once, your brain is like, we don't need that because it was just one experience with that word, so let's delete it. But if you see it every single day, your brain will be like, oh, this must be important, and you will remember it. And also, if you like see it afterwards every single day, you will not have to study it again. Because what usually happens is that, you know, you've got the word, you try to remember it, then you forget it, and then you see it again and you don't remember, you know, all of the information. So you have to go through the research process again, and I don't want to do that again. I want to remember it forever. I want to do this once and I want to remember it forever. And for that reason, I'm gonna keep it somewhere where I can see it and not forget about it, so that I will remember it forever. And if you keep it there for a month, for example, then like, you will remember it forever. And that is that. Yeah, so this is my way of studying new vocabulary. If it helps you, then wonderful. If not, then, you know, whatever. So I'm wishing you a fantastic day. Stay happy and healthy, and I will catch you later.